I'm making this video from Iowa. We own a soybean farm here and we are really struggling right now. The entire soybean industry is collapsing thanks to these tariffs and the fact that China has completely cut off all contracts with the United States.
America's soybean farmers are in a world of hurt. They're going to lose their farms and their livelihoods, and they did it to themselves. And now they are begging, pleading, oh, help us. We punished ourselves because we thought Donald Trump was only going to hurt the right people, not us. We thought Donald Trump was going to hurt women and black people and Latinos and immigrants and the homeless and LGBTQ. We never thought Donald Trump would hurt us, even though Donald Trump told us on the campaign trail that he was going to raise tariffs, even though Project 2025 explicitly lays out the tariff plan and the plan to bankrupt soybean farmers all across America so that they can buy their land for cheap. Oh, yeah. And Vice President J.D. Vance owns part of an app to help buy up the bankrupt land. Come on, get real.
This is a soybean. Right now, millions of tons of these are sitting in fields just like this, with nowhere to go because of Washington's trade wars. Americans already pay 86% of the tariffs. And now, Washington's idea of a solution is to take even more of your money to bail out farmers for a problem that they created.
American workers and American taxpayers have been taken advantage of for multi-generation, for decades. And it's time for somebody to stand up and put us first and put the country first and do what's best for the country, not what's best for the politicians.
Even if you as a farmer suffer.
That's right.
I mean, some people would hear that and be quite surprised that you're prepared to put your livelihood, your family's livelihood, on the line for the sake of politics.
Well, that's my duty as for being the head of my household. I've got to do what I got to do, what's going to be better for the future, better for the kids. It's not about today, it's about the long term. The long game is where the rewards are going to be.
It's not good for anybody.
Cambridge farmer Doug Fuller has been in the business almost 5 decades. He's tiring of the tariff talk, and his solution to make things right is simple. Best case scenario for this year?
That we never have to talk about tariffs again. Free trade is the answer.
1 in every 4 rows of soybeans in every field in the entire United States of America has to go abroad. China is the largest importer of soybeans in the world. They import 61% of the world's market. Last year, we sent around $12 billion, I think $14 billion worth of soybeans the year before. For the first time in 20 years, China's bought 0 soybeans and 0 new crop corn out of this country.
0?
So we went from 12 billion to 0.
Where are they buying the soybeans?
Brazil.
If you slap me in the face, I slap you back. China will never allow any country, including the United States, to throw the rule of free trade out of the window and to be presumptuous enough to say, this is the way I do. I hold a gun at your hand, cry uncle, and kneel in front of me. No, China will never do that. Whether other countries will decide to do that, that's their choice. But China will never do that.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel once again. So guys, in this video we break down the wild reality of Maga soybean farmers who voted for Trump, cheered his trade wars, and are now watching their livelihood collapse under the very policy they supported. So kindly guys, I want you to watch this video and see how soybeans farmers, they are really going bankrupt, how they are crying, and also they are having a rude awakening. Watch this till the end, then I'll be back with more comment.
Watch out, y'all, we got a live one today. I've worked on manual field labor crews where most of my coworkers were convicts, and I've also worked with a lot of tech companies on automating farms. And this press conference is incredible because this person hasn't the foggiest clue what she's talking about. Every farm job that can be automated already is. Let's start there. Do we really have a USDA secretary who thinks nobody's ever tried to automate picking fruit? And then we'll talk about the whole tee-hee, we'll just make the Medicaid people work the farms part in a moment. Here's what you need to know. Fruit and vegetables that are hard or going to be processed can be picked by machine. So nuts, carrots, sour cherries for pie filling, berries and grapes that will be dried, tomatoes for sauce, those are already all picked by machine. But fruit and tomatoes that are eaten fresh cannot be automated with current technology. There is no way to pick them fast enough by machine to be commercially viable without bruising them so they rot before they get to the store. And I know this because I worked for a lot of the startups who tried. Having a USDA secretary who doesn't know or care about any of this is completely wild. Now let's get on this whole, we'll just have the Medicaid people pick the crops thing. And let's ignore the whole forced labor is bad issue because everyone who cares about that already knows. Let's focus strictly on logistics. The idea that getting rid of experienced workers who came to this country to work on purpose and replacing them with newbies who will somehow do the same work is a pipe dream. Agriculture deserves people who know and care enough about it to say that. Something that kept happening to me as a white American who worked in manual field jobs, because surprise, there's not a ton of us, but we're out there. It was finding out when I got to a new job that I was one of the only people on the crew who was there on purpose and getting paid. I'd get to work the first day and find out that most of my coworkers were convicts working off a sentence. So they were completely new to farm labor and didn't really want to be there. Part of my job, I was told, was I was supposed to mentor them, show them the ropes. So I spent a lot of my career on the front lines on what a lot of American farmers might be about to experience. So here's what you need to know. Inexperienced people who don't really want to be there and aren't already physically trained will not do good work, even if they want to. They don't know how and physically cannot. This is a pipe dream. This is a pipe dream that Brooke Rollins is selling. Farmers would hire these crews I was on because they didn't want to hire immigrants for whatever reason. And you know what? They were always disappointed with the results. These crews were slow, sloppy, kept breaking stuff because they were clumsy. In the end, because the work was done so slowly, so badly, and the wardens and supervisors all expect a full-time white-collar salary, there was no real cost savings compared to just hiring real workers. That's what people learned. This one crew I was on in Florida had a rotating cast of 19-year-old weed and Xbox kids, been caught on minor drug charges. These were not hardened criminals, they were just gamers, and you know what else? They were super clumsy. They were big kids who had no idea where their feet were. They just kept stepping on all the blueberry transplants that we just planted. Another crew I was on was a bunch of high schoolers who were working off community service for juvie, and this was juvie in the 90s, so everybody smoked. Tobacco is packed with plant viruses that are super contagious to plants. They can be spread just by touch. So don't smoke in the fields is a key farm rule because you can get the whole field sick doing that. Not only did the juvie crew not know or care, the foreman didn't know or care. That's how janky this outfit was. I hope those fields turned out okay. Now I don't want to blow any minds here, but agriculture is a real job. It needs to be taken seriously. It takes real skills, knowledge, and people who know and care what they're doing. Stop treating agriculture like society's dumping ground. We are not. And that goes double for the people who are supposed to be looking out for agriculture, like the head of the USDA.
Has anybody figured out where our bumper crop of soybeans are going? Yeah, because this administration has messed things up so badly with China. China goes, yeah, keep your soybeans, we're good. The biggest buyer in the world of soybeans has said, don't worry about it, we're good. So why doesn't somebody tell me or tell the U.S. farmers that are bringing in all these soybeans, tell them what they're going to do with them? Somebody needs to come up with a plan and like really, really quick. Because guess what? China said, thanks, but no thanks. So where are all these soybeans going to go? Does anybody know? Does anybody care? Because I'm sure the farmers are freaking out right now because they have a bumper crop of soybeans that, yeah, nobody wants. At least China doesn't want. And China's the biggest, largest buyer. I mean, we could be selling the small countries, but it's not going to put a dent in the soybeans that we have. Is anyone going to start talking about this? Or are we just going to pretend it's not a massive, huge problem because of this administration?
American workers and American taxpayers have been taken advantage of for multi-generation, for decades. And it's time for somebody to stand up and put us first and put the country first and do what's best for the country, not what's best for the politicians.
Even if you as a farmer suffer.
That's right.
I mean, some people would hear that and be quite surprised that you're prepared to put your livelihood, your family's livelihood, on the line for the sake of politics.
Well, that's my duty as for being the head of my household. I've got to do what I got to do, what's going to be better for the future, better for the kids. It's not about today, it's about the long term. The long game is where the reward's going to be.
But don't the price of tariffs and what happens in commodity markets like soybean. Doesn't that affect you in the short term and affect your ability to provide for your family?
Look, tariffs will probably have a detrimental effect on soybean price in the near future. In the long term, it'll probably work out. I'm a farmer. I deal with bad weather. I deal with dry weather. I deal with torrential rains. We deal with hurricanes. What's a tariff going to do? You know, I got to raise a crop. If I was worried, I'd stay home and not raise a crop. If I was worried about it, I still got to get out there and raise my crop to get the price. If you don't get the yield, it doesn't make any difference. You know, I got to deal with all these other things. What's a tariff? I can't control that, so it is what it is.
I'm making this video from Iowa. We own a soybean farm here, and we are really struggling right now. The entire soybean industry is collapsing thanks to these tariffs and the fact that China has completely cut off all contracts with the United States. They are importing all of their soybeans from Brazil. Thanks to these trade wars, soybean prices have dropped so much that it's pushing all of us farmers into the red in an already difficult year. We're part of the Soybean Farmers Association, and we sent a letter to the president this month urging him to stop this trade war so that the entire industry doesn't go under. On top of that, the tariffs have made all of our farm equipment skyrocket in price. We can barely afford anything right now. Of course, as a farmer, I voted red just like all the other soybean farmers, and now the people we elected are ruining our entire business, our entire way of life, our entire industry. The same thing happened in 2019 when he had the trade war with China. I mean, I know it doesn't make sense that we voted for him again, but we just can't help it. Anyway, any help that we could get urging him to end this trade war would be much appreciated.
You are probably not ready for this information, but China has a much more effective political system that is designed to make ordinary people's lives better. You may be shocked. You may be asking, how it could be more effective? Well, for one thing, in China, the rich people don't dictate government policies, unlike in some other countries. I will repeat it. The rich people, whether it's billionaires, CEOs of super successful companies in China, they are not allowed to bend the government policies to make it easier for them to pursue maximum profits at the expense of ordinary people's well-being. Strategic sectors like water, electricity, energy, and transport are under government control, not controlled by a few rich families. And that's one of the reasons many grand infrastructure projects like railways, high-speed roads, ports, dams, and public schools were built. Those projects cost so much effort, and you probably won't see any financial return in a short time. But they tremendously benefit the people and unleash the huge potential of the country. You may ask, okay, so what about the government officials? Are they clean? Well, China has made it very clear to all CPC party members and the government officials, if you hold an official position, don't expect to get rich. If you want to get rich, don't seek to hold an official position. Those corrupted officials are being investigated and punished. So what's it like in your country? Tell me in the comments.
Hello from China. So I'm in a grocery store right now, and I wanted to show you how the American tariffs are affecting Chinese customers. So I was gonna get some beef for dinner tonight, and I saw this. So what used to be here is American beef, but now, as you can see, it says Australian beef. And I did look around. I couldn't find one single pack of beef from America. So I guess China just stopped buying beef from America, and it went straight to Australia. So the whole idea that China is hurting because of the American tariffs, well, they're not, because they're not as dependent on the US. In fact, only 18% of Chinese imports come from America. And for stuff like beef and soy, they can just go somewhere else easily. So I guess I'm having Australian beef for dinner tonight instead of American beef. And honestly, because of the food quality, I probably trust Australian beef better. And this box of beef right here is 50 RMB, which is about $7 US. So to answer the question, China ain't hurting. And if anything, I think we're probably doing even better, because now that we have better beef that tastes better and at a better price. So thank you, Trump, for that.
Is fully prepared to fight to the very end, because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
When you hear Donald Trump say China wants a deal, it just doesn't know how to go about it. They're proud people. J.D. Vance talks about Chinese peasants. What do you make of their conduct in this respect?
If J.D. Vance thinks that he's dealing with the peasants in China, and I'm proud to be a descendant of the peasants. Most of us are descendants of the peasants anyway. That's our tradition. We are farmers before, but now we are one of the leading industrialized economies in the world. So I'm sorry, J.D. Vance doesn't know what he's talking about. And therefore, I don't think there will be China-US dialogue unless the United States changes its attitude towards China. Deal with China as it is, show respect to China, show respect to the Chinese people, and don't try to impose your prejudice and biased view about China or about the rest of the world.
If you take a look at this map right here, you can see all the countries shaded in with blue had the United States as their #1 trading partner back in the year 2000. And then the countries shaded in red, their #1 trading partner was China. Here's how the map has changed in 24 years. In 2024, all the countries shaded in the red had their largest trading partner as China, and all the countries shaded in blue, their largest trading partner was the United States. And when we take a look at all of China's exports, the United States doesn't make up that much. So when they say that they don't care, if the United States no longer purchases products from them, they mean they don't care.
If you slap me in the face, I slap you back. China will never allow any country, including the United States, to throw the rule of free trade out of the window and to be presumptuous enough to say, this is the way I do. I hold a gun at your hand, cry uncle, and kneel in front of me. No, China will never do that. Whether other countries will decide to do that, that's their choice. But China will never do that.
Do you think that President Trump misjudged China?
China's view is very clear. We will never tolerate anyone mistreating China like that, intimidating China, issuing ultimatum to China. If you slap me in the face, I slap you back. And this is exactly what's happening. Now, Chinese government also declared by imposing 125% tariff against total U.S. export to China, the U.S. products have no marketability in the Chinese market, meaning they are ready to see an end to China-U.S. trade to the China export to the United States and vice versa. That is the ultimatum China is issuing to the United States. Don't mess with me. Otherwise, I close the market for you. You will be locked out of China.
Boy, let's talk about how Trump is screwing the farmers. I have a lot of soybean farmers who are my clients, and this is really bad news. Caleb Ragland, who's the president of the American Soybean Association, he said farmers are heading into a harvest season without a single order from China. 25% of soybean farmers' crops are usually sold to China. The prices of soybeans are down 40% because of what's happening under the Trump administration, and production costs are rising. I'm tying in the Trump administration to this. This Soybean Association president is still speaking up Donald Trump. 500,000 soybean growers in the United States exist and are being severely impacted by this. They're having to now rely on loans to get them through the season. There are 231,000 jobs associated with soybean farming, harvesting, transportation, storage, you name it. And he says the impact on the local rural community that depends on the farmer is going to be severely impacted. South American farmers, soybean farmers, are filling the gap. China is just hop skipping over the United States, and countries like Brazil, have got it completely covered. No wonder Trump is attacking some of these other countries south of us.
Well, the Democrats were right again, and it turns out the farmers of Iowa are completely shit out of luck, specifically because they voted for Trump, okay? Because his policies have double fucked them, okay? Starting with USAID. Now, you might say, why would USAID be connected to the farmers of Iowa? Well, turns out that USAID was one of their most reliable customers. We were spending up to $2 billion every year buying soybeans from them and then shipping them overseas to feed poor, starving children. Until our Christian president got in office and he said, "What? We are sending food overseas to feed hungry children? For Christ's sake, shut that down immediately." Well, in doing that, they have now taken away the second largest, most reliable customer for these soybean farmers in Iowa. Now, who was their number one customer? Well, it used to be China. And up until recently, they were buying 60% of our soybean exports out of America. But Daddy Trump came in and jacked up these tariffs, started a trade war with China, and now these soybean farmers have lost their number one customer. So now these soy boys are sitting on a Scrooge McDuck level of soybeans with absolutely nobody to sell them to. And that is why they are begging Daddy Trump for a bailout and for him to cut this shit with China so we can get rid of these tariffs. You know, it's amazing. Trump supporters put him in office hoping that he would just ruin the lives of all the people who they hated. But they didn't realize that Trump isn't on their team. He's on Team Billionaire, not on Team Farmer or Team Trucker or Team Everyday American. He only cares about rich people.
Fox News just told me that he signed an executive order to put 25% on Mexico and Canada. Thank you, Daddy Trump. Suck it, Canada and Mexico. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck. Okay, hear this? He paused those tariffs, but he's threatening the EU with tariffs now. Genius. But if I'm being honest, I don't really know what the EU is. But if he's threatening it, then they deserve it. 25% on foreign steel and aluminum. He's so fucking smart, oh my God. Oh, I love him. Today's the big day. Tariffs in place for Canada, Mexico, and China. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, 1 month exemption for US automakers. America. Freedom, America, America. Okay, change of plans. He's gonna go ahead and pause those tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 1 month, but reciprocal tariffs are coming April 2nd. That's the way he does it. He's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. The EU thinks it can threaten us with tariffs. Yeah, so he threatened a 200% tariff on alcohol. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Now I'll just stick to the Bush Light anyway. Doesn't fucking matter. He announced his reciprocal tariffs. I wonder where he got those numbers. Awesome. Who cares where he got the numbers? It's chess, not checkers. 5D chess, that's what he's playing. Jesus Christ. And they're done. And they're done. The reciprocal tariffs are done. 150% on China. Okay. 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 Cool. Fuck. I didn't need that shit from Shein anyway.
Decades we've been told that we can't feed kids free lunch because that's socialism. We've been told that we can't give partial credit towards college scammy loans because that's socialism. We can't have universal health care. Your Nana can't get the cancer treatment that she needs because Medicare for all would be socialism. We can't feed and help the homeless because of socialism. Everything that doesn't benefit you is socialism. We've been hearing this about everything that would be good for society for decades. And the second that you need a helping hand, it's a necessary thing. It's not just, guys, this is actually good for everybody. That's why I need that money. I voted for you. You voted against me.
America's soybean farmers are in a world of hurt. They're going to lose their farms and their livelihoods, and they did it to themselves. And now they are begging, pleading, oh, help us. We punished ourselves because we thought Donald Trump was only going to hurt the right people, not us. We thought Donald Trump was going to hurt women and black people and Latinos and immigrants and the homeless and LGBTQ. We never thought Donald Trump would hurt us, even though Donald Trump told us on the campaign trail that he was going to raise tariffs, even though Project 2025 explicitly lays out the tariff plan and the plan to bankrupt soybean farmers all across America so that they can buy their land for cheap. Oh, yeah. And Vice President J.D. Vance owns part of an app to help buy up the bankrupt land. Come on, get real. You were either willfully ignorant, dumb, or both, America's soybean farmers. What I don't hear is contrition. I don't hear the man who was on MSNBC this morning, Scott Brown from Arkansas, soybean farmer, who's going to lose it all. I didn't hear him say, I made a mistake. I didn't hear him say, really, I knew, but I just thought it would turn out different because. He didn't say, I'm going to do something different now. He didn't say, I'm going to vote against Trump. He didn't say he was even going to start voting in his own self-interest. He's just begging for a bailout because that's what we've been doing for 100 plus years in America is bailing out our farmers. They don't deserve it. They don't need it. They can live with their decision. They can also come to the right side. And they can admit that they made a mistake, and they can admit that racism is expensive, and they can admit that they're not going to be racist and bigots anymore, and that they're going to put not just their self-interest, but everybody's self-interest ahead of Donald Trump's and MAGA's and Heritage Foundation's. But can they do it? Will they do it? Because the rest of us are waiting for them. We are here, open and willing for them to take the right step and to show their humanity. No fear, only love.
So there's an old joke about a guy who's got a pet snake. He's raised the snake, he loves the snake, and one day he lies down to take a nap with the snake, and when he wakes up, the snake has him in his coils ready to eat him. He wakes up baffled, looks at the snake and says, how could you do this? And the snake smiles, winks at him, and says, well, hey, I'm still a snake. And unfortunately, this is kind of where diehard MAGA Christians seem to be right now. They're in the middle of this joke. Trump is their savior to bring Christian morality back to the United States of America. But here's why I think they're doomed for one of two things. It's either going to be abandoning the biblical faith that they equate with salvation, or they're going to become a victim of the persecution that they often fantasize about, except they're not going to be persecuted by their, quote, enemy. It's going to be probably by other people claiming to be Christian as well. Now, one of the things we need to keep in mind is that biblically, when we look at the story of Israel, there's a theme, and that theme is that the nation follows the leader. So a faithful leader produces a faithful Israel, an unfaithful leader produces an unfaithful Israel, and ultimately the result of following too many unfaithful leaders is what led to Israel's ruin. So putting trust in Trump to lead the nation to a Christian value in this kind of a light is kind of laughable. 1 John has some very good measures to attend to in assessing this comment that I'm making. One of them is whoever claims they have no sin is a liar and the truth is not in them. Well, Trump is actually on camera live saying that he hasn't ever asked for forgiveness because he's never done anything that he feels need to be forgiven of. And that's a warning sign. Now, some other paraphrases of 1 John. Those who love are born of God, and they are loving because God is love. Those who do not love are born of the devil. Those who do what is right are born of God. Those who do what is wrong are born of the devil. And then also, anyone who claims to love God but hates their neighbor is a liar. So just on the love front, I'm just going to point out Trump's social media posts. That's all the further we have to go. They're filled with hate. They're filled with a vengeful spirit, a divisive spirit. Proverbs 6 says that God hates any person who is stirring up trouble among the people. And when we look at them, love is nowhere near them. In terms of what is doing what is right in God's sight, the past, the present are littered with lies, adultery, sexual assault, greed, arrogance, many other things that are the absolute antithesis of Christian. And so his words and his attitudes defy any passive or superficial comments that are just made to appease a Christian voter base. Like Israel, As the leader goes, so goes the nation. So his aggressive, intimidating attitudes and behavior demonstrate a lack of Christ-centered grace and compassion. Lives are expendable, the needy are expendable, the vulnerable are attackable and expendable. Those who claim to follow Christ and continue to buy into this over and over again, to these attitudes that are in direct conflict with Jesus, are following into the trap of Israel. Claiming to follow Jesus and allowing their perspective to be warped by politics and personal agendas, they are led to a false Jesus wrapped in a flag and many empty promises. And this is the first trap, leaving the faith of the authentic Jesus of Scripture for the political, falsely patriotic faith prescribed by a party not called by a Redeemer. Now, the second trap is assuming that the cause of Christ is of any import to the governing powers at hand. That cause is pleaded so long as it is useful to garner power. Once it's no longer useful, it's going to be rejected along with those who belong to it. So if we've seen anything, it is that anyone, any company, any group that isn't loyal to the administration's line and agenda is the enemy. They get under attack, and even if the attack is challenged legally, the damage is done before any movement can happen. So congratulations. The moment your own Christian values are at odds with the government's message, their agenda, you're no longer protected. You become the enemy. We've seen attacks already on the Lutherans and the Catholics for daring to present Christ-like sentiments that don't line up with Trump's agenda. Now, the more enemies are kicked to the curb and targeted, the more Christianity will be, as well as faithful men and women stand strong against politics and policies that go against that gospel. So if you decide to reclaim your faith, you're going to be among them. Your own people who haven't come to their spiritual senses and claim Christ in the middle of unchrist values are going to be your persecutors. Not the atheist, not the Muslim, not the foreigner, your very own that look like you and claim to believe like you. This is where the faith goes in a climate we're seeing presently. Now, if you wonder how correct I am biblically, think about this. The reason Jesus went to the cross was because his values and understanding of God ran against the powers that were ruling over the people. In Scripture, many were his own people. So to quote Jesus, what good is it to gain the whole world if you lose your soul?
So guys, I hope you have watched that video and you have seen how soybeans farmers, they are really regretting, because majority of them, they went ahead and cheered when Donald Trump, he was introducing trade tariff. Majority of them, they were happy because they thought that the trade tariff will not affect them. And also right now we are seeing that China is giving them a middle finger. China, they are not having sympathy with these Maga soybeans farmers, simply because these people were Donald Trump led them. Donald Trump, he told them that this tariff, the people are going to pay the tariff. It is these people outsiders, the China, these countries which they are doing business with United States, are the ones who will going to pay the tariff. But it has turned out that right now the people who are really paying the tariff, it is the American people, it is the farmers. They're the one who are paying this tariff, and it has really affected them to a point whereby they feel like, no, this administration, if it will continue like that, we are going to die hungry, we are going to die poor. Because right now we have been seeing majority of the farmers, they have been going bankrupt. It is not only the soybeans farmer, we have been seeing also the Texas farmers, we have been seeing Nebraska's farmers, we have been seeing a majority of white farmers that have been complaining, and they are now going bankrupt simply because in fact, these people, they voted for deportation, and they knew very well that the people who are helping them in the farms, they are immigrant people. and they went ahead and voted for deportation, knowing that the black people, the black Americans will come and help them and work in their farms. But it has turned out that black people, they are not showing up. They are not willing to go and work in the white farmers. And because of that, we have been seeing their crops, it has been rotting in the farms. And also we have been seeing, apart from their crops rotting in the farms, they don't have workers. The workers, they are not showing up to help them to pick crops to go and sell them. No, the workers, they have refused because of how ice it is raiding in the farms. So because of that, the soybeans farmers, they are really regretting for voting for this administration. So guys, I want to read some of the comment and see what majority of people that have come out and say in the comment section. So, and also guys, you can also share your thought on the comment section. Tell me, what do you think about how these soybeans farmers, they are really suffering right now? So this one saying that the people who voted empathy out of America are begging for empathy. You can imagine, these people, they voted for empathy out in America. So right now they are voting, they want empathy. You can imagine how these people they are. And that's why Donald Trump came out and said that he loves uneducated, so that he can play with them how he wants, so that I can rule them how he wants. So this one saying that as a former farmer, I can tell you that 98% of Americans farmer are Maga. Don't feel sorry for them because they will always vote Republican. So you can see this is as a former farmers. You can imagine this is a former farmers telling us that 98% of American farmers are Maga. 98% of American farmers are Maga. Don't feel sorry for them because they will always vote Republican. Exactly. These people, they will always vote Republican. So as black people, majority, the people of the color, we need let's not feel sorry for these people. So these are saying that if given the chance, the next time they'll vote the same way. Exactly. They voted for Donald Trump at the first time and they saw how economy it was, and also they came out and voted for him in the second time. And also if Donald Trump will be given a chance to vie on the third time, these people, they will always they will still come and vote for Donald Trump. So as black people, we need to stay away from this. So let's see how these people they are going through right now. So this one saying that stupidity is the biggest issue in the United States. Exactly, and those are for the Maga people, because black people, they are not stupid. Black people, they saw what it is coming. They tried to warn the Maga people, but they didn't listen. This was saying that no remorse for those fools. Farmers should know you reap what you sow. Exactly. This was saying that farmers vote against children getting fed. Have the life you vote for. This was saying that no socialism. Remember, if single moms can't have help, neither can you all. Exactly. This was saying that a Canadian here, farmers vote overwhelmingly for Trump and his policy. They were fine with Trump trying to destroy our economy and threaten our sovereignty. No sympathy whatsoever for you, Fafo. Exactly, this one is a Canadian. So this one is saying that those conservatives, Republican farmers complain because a communist country like China refused to buy their crop. What a bunch of hypocritical laws. Exactly, China refused to buy their crops, and China, it has been showing them the middle finger. This one saying that when one of the donors, a rich friend, buys your farm for pennies, you can blame China, right? You can imagine. So this one saying that riddle me this: do American farmers even know how to turn a profit without government subsidies, aka rural welfare? This one saying that it's really great to see the farmers getting everything they vote for. Exactly. So these people, I'm always wondering, why are these people crying right now? Why are the farmers crying right now? And they were the ones who voted for this administration. These people did. Can you tell me, these people, they want to tell me that they didn't read the policy? They didn't read what they didn't know what Donald Trump is coming to do. These people, they knew very well, but these people, they voted for that. Why are we black people having sympathy towards them? No, we shouldn't have empathy towards them, because they saw the policy and they knew very well what Donald Trump is coming to do. So let them suffer, let them reap what they sow. This one saying that canceling US food aid also kills market for grains, etc. This one saying that Trump friend will buy up all the farms and then drop the tariff. No more family farmers, just cooperation. Exactly. That it is what Donald Trump is doing with his friend. I've been telling you that the people who are running this, the United States government, they are billionaires. So they are making life to become hard to the farmers, so that the farmers can sell their farms to them, so that they can buy the farms in pennies. And after buying the farms, they will go and reduce the tariff. They will go and reduce they will go and make things to cool down, so that they can benefit while the farmers, they have been going loose. So that it is what it is happening in America right now. This one saying that I am Canadian. I have lived in China and the USA. China is so far ahead of the USA in so many ways. I plan to go back to China to travel and or live. I will never go to the USA again, not even to visit. You can see this one saying that I love the poorly educated. He said exactly. He loved the poorly educated. You can see Donald Trump loved poor people and educated, so that he can use them how he wants. So this one is saying that if they didn't give student loan forgiveness, no bailout for the farmers. These guys have been warned since the 80s. This one is saying that they are willing to destroy themselves for a man who is ranking in billions, and they want us to think it's not a cult. That cult 101. The leader take the money, while the cultists suffer in poverty and love to serve someone else. This was saying that Trump bankrupt the farmers and his friend buy their farmland on the cheap. All the farms in Russia are owned by the state. Maga 2025 has a goal. This was saying that, as Forrest Gump would say, stupid is as stupid does. They can shake that. Exactly. So kindly guys, you can also share your thoughts on the comment section. I'll be reading it in my next video. Thank you so much guys. Subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share, and also comment. We are heading to 100,000 subscribers. Kindly subscribe so that we can reach 100,000 subscribers. See you on my next one. Bye bye.